Hi guys, I am back. Yes, it's been a while, but now I'm back. The reason for my absence is because I went to Tennessee at III, so Isha Institute of Inner Sciences. I didn't realize that they called it III until Google. Okay, so this session I'm just going to tell you about my experience at Isha Institute of Inner Sciences down at McMinnville, Tennessee. And this review is basically just under that premise. One overnight stay, attending one program, and one minor program. The class/program that I attended, Surya Kriya and Klesha Nashana Kriya. Forgive me, I think I butchered the last part. So I'm going to talk about these major topics. I'm going to start with lodging, and then I'm going to talk about food. I have my notes here, guys. And I'm going to talk about the volunteers, the Abode of Yoga, where the 21-foot statue of Adiyogi is. I'm going to talk about the teachers. I think I've said teachers, but I'm going to talk about teachers. Teacher 1. Well, maybe 2. And then I'm going to talk about the Isha shop. Who doesn't like the Isha shop? First, lodging. I stayed at Laurel Studios. I think that's what it's called. It seems like a one-bedroom, but they didn't have a door to divide the room, so they call it a studio. Furniture was bare minimum, which I think is great because I like my space. And I think these studios actually have owners because one of the closet has a lock in it and says, "Please do not open." So I think the volunteers that are out of town offer their studios to participants like me. So when I went into my room, I think it was recommended that we shower right away. So I showered, and they have their shampoo, conditioner, and shower gel in a dispenser, which I really appreciated. And of course, they have bath towels, which was great. So it's basically just like a hotel. Moving into the bed. Okay, you guys. The bed was so hard, like really hard. I'm not complaining that the bed is hard. I think it's actually really good to keep our spine straight. But I haven't gotten rid of my soft bed. Hence, I'm still used to my soft bed. I know there are times where my back really hurts because of my soft bed. But because I've been practicing some yoga stretches every day, my back pain is not frequent anymore. So I could tolerate my soft bed. Because I've tolerated my soft bed for a while. So that hard bed was something else. I think next year I should get rid of my bed. Because I've had it for a while. I'm not going to tell you because it's embarrassing how long I've had that soft bed. But yes, I need to change my bed into a bed that's more conducive for my back. The pillows, you guys. I don't know if there's a science to the pillows. But the pillows are like really big. Big in terms of like the fluffiness, height. It's very fluffy. Okay, maybe not fluffy, but like height-wise, it's very high. And you fluff it, it doesn't fluff too much. Again, it's the same characteristics as the bed. It's kind of hard, but I think it has some science to it. I just don't know what it is yet. But other than that, it was really nice, serene, quiet. I love the fact that they have an ongoing chant played in the radio. No, not radio, but the speakers outside the hallway. So it's basically Sadhguru chanting Yogeshwaraya. No, not that one. Yoga, yoga, yogeshwaraya. So that one really does contribute to the atmosphere. I know Sadhguru said something that some people find it kind of annoying, that it's like, on repeat. But I know his intentions of the chants, hence I appreciate it. Next, let's talk about food. Okay, another thing, you guys. I really appreciated the food because I think I know that it's good for me. So every time I ate, I had 1, 2, 3 meals during my stay. 2 of my meals had chickpeas as the main dish. I think the last one we had sauteed cabbage. All of it was really good. They only serve 2 meals a day, and the meal will always have a main entree. They always had rice, and the rice is brown rice. They will always have a salad, and they will always have a fruit. I know I eat a little bit more than normal So when I was standing in line, waiting for the volunteers to serve me, and they scoop like a big spoonful, a ladle full of rice. And then I smiled back. And then they're like, you want more? I'm like, yeah. I think the technique to it is if you stand in line and they give you food, you don't move. You don't move from the line, so they ask you the question if you want more, and they'll give you more. So great of them. So I really appreciated the food. It was delicious. I just feel good eating it. Maybe not a lot of people will appreciate it, because I realize too, if you know food is purely vegetarian and you're used to eating meat, I think that thought that you're not eating meat kind of makes you think the food's not going to be good in terms of taste. Okay, this part I think is not mental. That sounds wrong. Mental, not crazy mental, but like placebo effect. Me thinking that it's good for me makes me think it tastes good as well. But here's what's very interesting. You know those bananas that you buy at the grocery store, where they have stickers of some, usually it's like a Disney character? I eat that banana. I don't really like it that much. But the banana I had at Triple I was good. It didn't have the sticker. I think the brand's Dole. Forgive me. But here's what I think about it. I think it's not sourced from Dole. Because the banana tastes so good, I think it's organic. And I grew up in the Philippines, guys. These bananas that I ate in the Philippines is also organic. And it tastes so good. And the banana I had at Triple I reminded me of the bananas that I ate in the Philippines. So I think there's that experience of taste that I can really tell it's different. It tastes good. Organic. Banana. Everything's probably really organic too. Then it may not just be placebo effect, that it's actually good. Food was great. Next, let's talk about the volunteers. Sadhguru did say something that because his organization is mostly ran by volunteers, you cannot fire them. Well, he cannot fire volunteers. So if you're kind of a little impatient, there are some people who's going to volunteer and they're not necessarily effective at what they do. But here's the thing. If you look at it this way, that these people gave up time that they have to volunteer and make complex programs happen, deserves a bow. Because yes, they may not be efficient at what they do, but the willingness of them to actually be there, volunteer, help out to the best of their abilities, even if they're not necessarily good at it, deserves a bow. Deserves a bow. And I do bow down to them. So dear volunteers, forgive me if I'm kind of impatient, but I do appreciate your time and effort that you've given to make those programs happen. Okay, guys, I wasn't very impatient. Oh, one more thing about volunteers. So in the mornings, you don't have to have an alarm to wake up early. There's going to be someone with a drum. I think they call it a damaru. He wakes up at 05 in the morning and walks around Laurel Studios and plays that drum. Do, 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 do. I don't know, I can't remember the rhythm of the drum. For somebody to wake up early just to wake you up, that was one of the great experiences I've had. Volunteers. Okay, next, let me talk about teachers. Because I've attended 2 programs so far. Let me tell you guys, their teachers are on point. Their teachers are good. Okay, when I attended my first program, which was Buddha Shuddhi, and similar to Surya Kriya, their instructions were very clear. You know, they also have really good visual aids, like their videos. Everything that you need to learn is perfectly presented to you in detail. So I have no questions. I have no concerns about the content that they had to teach. But what was great about the teachers, you guys, is you can't just be anybody to teach. they are like up there, like creme of the crop. They've been trained really well. And I think there must have been some selection process for an Isha Hatha yoga teacher. Because to be like a really good teacher, you have to have a certain level of competence to manage people who come from different walks of life. They have that sense of authority when they sit there. They address your questions in a way where it meets the time hacks. Like they're going to address important questions, and the questions that are not necessarily as important or have already been talked about, they kind of know how to manage it and control the quantity of those types of questions. I promise you guys, Isha Hatha yoga teachers, you have to see them. They're great. Next, I'm going to talk about the Abode of Yoga, which is where the 21-foot statue of Adiyogi is. So I was there, you guys, in October. And I promise you, the first time I touched the linga, like my spine shook. I was in a state of ecstasy. And I know I wanted more. So this time when I visited, I did the same thing. I did a water offering to the linga. And when I touched the linga, it wasn't the same. Like my spine wasn't vibrating. And then I told myself, it's probably because I'm expecting. I have like previous expectations. So I think that was really my fault. But then I was like, yeah, I kind of know it was my fault. So I just sat there and started chanting. And I just chanted for a while, and it happened. Tears were running down my cheeks. So there are really moments of ecstasy you could experience if you have no expectations at all. I know I still can't control my expectations, but during those moments where I'm caught vulnerable and off guard, whoosh, it just enters. It'll make you feel a certain type of way and you can't ignore it. So yes, sit at the Abode. And I'm going to talk about the shop. I think everybody loves the shop. It's a fun place to be. You get to see a lot of things. It's a good place to pass time too. I would walk around the shop a lot, and sometimes just walk, not even buy anything, because I'm not sure what I'm going to buy. There's just a lot of things in there that I wanted to have everything, but I know I should not. So I just enjoy looking at things, and yes, the shop is part of life. I appreciate the shop. So overall, guys, my experience at Triple I this time is also very, very pleasurable. This is not a means for you to set expectations, because if you do, then if expectations are not met, then it's gonna make you unhappy, not unless, you have controls over your emotions, like really great mastery over your emotions. Then it doesn't matter if you have expectations, because once it's not met anyways, then you could still be joyful. But for those who can't really manage, have no mastery over their emotions yet, I think I recommend, just be there, soak it in, and enjoy. Just enjoy it the best way you know how. Not forcefully, just be open. So Triple I, a great place to be. And I'll see you again soon.